Hello everyone, this is Srirang here once again. We meet up today again. I have with me a very special and distinguished guest today, Mr. Vaibhav Patkar. I happen to know him for many years now. He's a good friend and a customer. And today we're going to have a conversation with Vaibhav. So welcome Vaibhav to Security. Thank you, Shiva. Right. So let's have this conversation today, Vaibhav. I would like to know, if you could describe your career and previous roles, projects undertaken, and your current role that you are taking.
My name is Vaibhav Patkar, and I have about 30 years of experience in information technology and security. Started my career as a support person, and then gradually moved to the user side, and then subsequently worked with companies like JP Morgan, IBM, Zenta, Sutherland, and now I am working with a global outsourcing company called Qualphone. In my role earlier, I have worked extensively on various technologies. I have set up data centers, call centers, SOCs, and did a lot of activities related to technology and security field. In my earliest stint, I have set up or rather increased my ISO 27000 certified centers from 15 to 55. We have done a lot of work on the PCI certified programs. I raised from 2 to 25 in a short span of time. Whatever company is requiring from compliance point of view related to healthcare, privacy, we did that. And I'm now here in Qualphone, where I manage the entire security aspect of the company, being a CISO, obviously. I handle cybersecurity, I handle business continuity and risk and compliance related. So these are overall my very high level, the path we have taken so far and what I'm doing currently.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, Vaibhav. You talked about setting up data centers, setting up call centers. So I would like to ask specific questions on your data center and call center, which essentially is how the technology is benefiting the enterprises, including the call centers, your BPO industry, and what are some of the major technologies being implemented in these segments?
Call center, data center will not work without technology. Technology is integral part of any such setup. Now, how you use it to benefit your company as well as for its customer is the real key. So earlier, if you really start, we had PSTN kind of a connection. Then we moved slowly, gradually to PRI connections, and then subsequently now we have a VoIP kind of thing. So that's a gradual change which have happened. But in current new trends which are coming up in the call center industry is integrate or omni-channel approach, where you can seamlessly move between voice, video, text, chat, and all. Now, this is something very much interesting, and people are really looking for it, and that gives a very high level of great customer experience and enhancing their satisfaction as well. So that's something which I really felt. And obviously, coupled with that, I would say data analytics playing a big role in a typical call center or outsourcing industry, because when somebody calls the company, the person at the other side knows who is calling, what is his history, what he has done, what is his liking, so that the person could figure it out what he is really looking for and support him better. So the customer experience is also enhanced and satisfaction is also guaranteed, provided you can make a sale.
So really interesting to know that. But what are the latest trends and practices that are being followed in the CIO community today or CISO community today?
See, I would say probably the most common are AI and ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning. This is something a new trend which is coming. Rather, I would not say the new trend, but we are trying to more or less use the existing data or number crunching the data and trying to bring out some analysis which can benefit the company. So that was something new one. 5G people are talking about. So 5G is going to revolutionize the whole world. That is what being talked about it. Of course, we still have to see its actual operations. Though a lot of companies have shown promises, and we are trying to have 5G is announced in India as well. So that's something I would say. Then we have a VR and AR, virtual reality and augmented realities. Now this is something a different concept altogether. I'm sure 5G is going to help in that, because in virtual reality you actually take the users in a different world, kind of a metaverse, and you get immersed into that. Augmented reality is basically mixing up both the technology and see how best we can do it. So that's something one. And being a security person, I always feel cybersecurity is also CIO should be thinking about it, because the way new technologies are evolving, there are technologies evolving to beat it also. So a CIO or a CISO should be aware of those things what are happening and take the necessary action so that his environment can be properly secured. So that would I say these are some of the things. Yeah, I mean, there are so many others. IoTs also people are talking about. Everything gets connected to everything, but then it will come up with its own different challenges. So at one point of time, the technologies are good. Now coming up, they can really help the consumers as well as the companies. But the underlying fact is, are they secure? Are you really want to use them? Because being a security guy, I'm always pessimistic. I never look at good in everything, because I know what could be the chances of compromises in case those happens. So that would I say.
So, having said that, cybersecurity is definitely going to play an important role in any enterprise today. What kind of budgets are getting allocated towards cybersecurity specifically? And what's your view on, are they sufficient? Are they enough? Or something more needs to be done on that?
See, on an average, if you see in global perspectives, about total IT spend, about 10% of it is actually reserved for cybersecurity related stuff. Now, that could involve adding new tools, new technologies, and or having some services also. And to be fact, those 10% is not good enough, because end of the day, you probably don't spend that, or you may spend a little less, but you look for something else, because the way technology and something, by the time you actual decision of procuring a technology or procuring evasive measure is fulfilled, something else has already come up. So it's a whole vicious cycle. So how much ever you try and invest, it is not sufficient. There's always a need to have something more, so that things can be look better. So that's what.
So what are some of the major cyber threats that you see in the world or the technology environment today?
See, in terms of cyber threats, or which are being challenged or challenging to face, one is very common, which is ransomware. Now it can happen to anybody, and you never know what could happen. That's number one. Second thing which I feel is insider threat. That is very much happening. Probably people don't talk about it, but you never know the person whom you talk. What is and assuming he's a colleague of yours, what is gone into his back of his mind, and probably he can use that to to help a competitor also. So insider threat is actually one of the things. And last, I mean, actually I've just categorized, let's say, just what three things that comes to mind. And last is user awareness or lack of user awareness. Because if you are not aware of if clicking at things will go there, and what will happen. In case of ransomware, the main challenge is lack of awareness, because user not supposed to click on that link, but he clicks for some simple gains, and then he just repents later. So lack of user awareness is, I think, one of the biggest threat one should think about.
Couldn't agree more than what you are saying. Lack of user awareness is one of the key things. Nowadays, we have seen so many things happening. Social engineering, people call you up on the phone and just they
say it's people are gullible. You just find to figure out a way to make them pay for what I would not call them mistakes, but their silliness or that way.
So, having said that, today you see that most of the organizations are adopting cloud or thinking about going on to cloud. Now, what people should keep in mind when they are moving on to cloud, and what are the security things that they should be very at least aware of?
See, I think there is a misconception or kind of a perception created by cloud providers that once you move everything to cloud, everything is secure. It's not. Absolutely not. Because cloud is just an extension of your network. Instead of storing your data on premises, servers or the places, you are storing into a cloud. So per se, the controls which are implemented on the on-prem network or environment has to be implemented appropriately on the cloud network. So there is absolutely no difference, because if you really see the way cloud service provider shared responsibility model exists, they are very clear that they will manage security of the cloud, but security in the cloud of your data should be managed by you guys. So you should be very clear that what data you are going to store on the cloud and how that has been accessed, and then you do put appropriate protection mechanism. Because see, cloud technologies are typically a software looking like a hardware. So, and it become, because it's a software, there is ease of use in its control. A simple example if I can give you is, if I want to publish a website on internet, today I can just do by a click of key, or just do a select a tick mark in a radio button, and that's done. Earlier days, it was a big long drawn process to get these things published. Now when the technology becomes so simple, anybody can do publish. And if just assume if somebody has just published this site on a corporate network without having any protection, what could happen? Anything can happen, and so your whole network will be vulnerable for any attacks which is coming up, because people are waiting just to find a weak spot in your environment, and this is the one you are actually providing. You're actually calling him, hey guys, come and hit me and with you whatever malware you have. So going to cloud does not mean that you have outsourced your security to them. It's you need to first envisage what exactly data I'm going to put on cloud, and put the controls appropriately, put the monitoring mechanism, and keep on monitoring and securing to the last.
Wow, well said. So the next question that I have for you is, when it comes to cybersecurity, organizations usually end up following a compliance-oriented approach. What is your view on it, and how do you strategize your enterprise security strategy around?
See, any security strategy should not be a compliance based, but it should be data based. Database, not a database of Oracle kind of a thing. Why I'm saying so? As a CISO, I need to know where my data lies, where my data is stored, how my data is used. If I know that, then I can put a control mechanism for protection. But if I don't know my data, where it shows, where it lies, how can I put my controls? Because wherever I put controls, there could be some place I may not have put controls, and that is my water. So I feel first and foremost step for any security professional or a CISO is to first identify where are the places where the data is being stored and how it has been processed, number one. Then you look at the industry which you belong and what are the corresponding regulations you have. So once you have your data, once you have regulation, once you follow them, automatically compliance will be there. I mean, simple thing. I don't want to use any extraordinary words or any complex word to make things complicated. No. First, these are all basics. Maybe I'm an old-fashioned 30 years in this whole company gone. My hairs are gone because of working a lot. I may be talking from my experience, but today a lot of technologies are available from security point of view. But just because on a hype you try to implement, probably that will not work, because you're not considered the basic of the whole thing is data. Where is your data? Where in the world my data is. That's very much important, because that's where the control will start from that point, and that's how you could. So whether you use cloud, whether you use VMware, virtualization, or any on-prem, as long as you know your database, you can able to put controls on it.
Absolutely. That leads me to the next question. From your perspective, what could be the scope of AI technology in threat detection, analytics, and incident responses?
Interesting question. AI, see, for artificial intelligence to take place, you need to make that system think. Today's situation, what is I'll just try to give a little different view. Today, when we talk about a computer, what is that computer is actually nothing but a black box. You have put some instruction to it, and basis those instructions is taking a decision, right? Now, assuming you put fed in 10 options, it has to decide within the 10 options itself. It cannot invent and think about an 11th or 12th option, because it is not there it is not fed into it. So in order to have this AI kind of a technology, you have to make him think. Now, how we are going to make him think? Do we have that kind of a technology today? That you can do a machine learning kind of thing. Machine learning can do similar this setup, but then you can actually expand the computing capability or the processing capability, so that instead of taking 20 hours, it will take the selection could be done in maybe 2 minutes. I'll probably, if it's okay, I can give an example here.
Absolutely, please.
So let's say I instruct a computer. I know if you know that there are maybe thousands of breeds of dogs. You have an Alsatian, you have Bulldog, you have Pup, you have whatever Labradors and Mudhol and all kinds of stuff, right? So you may instruct a computer to think in such a way that whenever you show a photograph of a dog, he can find the which breed it is, and it will tell you. Let's say you show a photograph of Labrador, he will say Labrador, it's a Alsatian or a Doberman, he will identify that. Fine. So this is how you structured your algorithm and things. Now, if you show him a photograph of a cat, do you think he will recognize a cat? So that's the issue of artificial intelligence, because you are given 200 types of different types of dogs, but you show him a cat, the whole algorithm failed. Now here is my key. Now how you are going to make him aware? Now same case, if we have put some kind of intelligence in the system that he will go to, the computer can actually go to Google and compare the photograph with whatever cats available for the thing, and then say, okay, this is cat, then that is AI. Otherwise, it's ML. I hope that's.
Yeah, absolutely right. So people nowadays talk about AI, ML, and that's the in thing. So artificial intelligence, you actually made it simplified. That what is artificial intelligence? You have to first make that machine think, give him that capability of thinking, and you actually gave an apt example of dogs and cats. That was really good. Okay. So here goes the next question. Your take on the different terminologies in the industries, in the security industry today, like EPP, EDR, MDR, XDR, ITDR, NDR, and more. What is it that the organizations need to primarily focus on?
EPP, all these things, these are kind of a hype created by the marketing companies or the technology companies, so that by having a different acronyms, they try to sell more. So it's like an EPP as a platform. XDR, NDR is actually using that platform to do the extended, endpoint detection or a managed detection service. I mean, there are lots of variation to it, but I look at it a little different way. First of all, you need to, for any technology to work, you have to put it in apt place. Without putting it into a right place, you will not able to control, or you're not able to monitor, or you're not able to get the right results. So first of all, according to me, I earlier talked about the data location. The next point I would like to think here is you should know your egress and ingress points, which means that how your data is going out of your network and how it is coming into our network. And if you put a appropriate mechanism, it could be EDR, it could be EPR, it could be a DLP also, then you can really work on it. I will not like to really go into those hyped words, but I need to first know what I'm going to protect and where are my areas where my data is going in and out of my network. And if I know that, and if I know what are the threats available, then I can able to use this in ADR or NDR, whichever technology we are talking about. So let us not go into that hype which is created by the marketing agencies. I'm sorry, I'm probably this answer may not like to some of the technology companies, but this is my views.
No, the reason we asked you this question was these are the terminologies that you will come across invariably whenever you are speaking to any of your peers, colleagues. Have you got this technology? Have you looked at it? What's your view on to that? So we wanted to know, there are so many technology acronyms that we talked about, and
Yeah, see, acronyms, end of the day, when you have to protect your data, acronyms don't help. You need to know what your data is, what your data is, and how the data is going out of your network. Once you know that, then the technologies you can pick up and then pick and choose kind of thing to control it. Otherwise, just because somebody is saying, or maybe the peer companies are using this technology, so I should use. I don't think that kind of a comparison should go. That is a futile effort, because you don't know. You're just blindly following the herd, and that herd mentality probably might create a challenge for you, because no two companies are the same. They will have a different way of doing things. So
sure. Uh, the next question that I have for you is human error or carelessness often are some of the primary reasons for organizations experiencing security breaches. Now, how should an enterprise approach the cybersecurity training of internal staff to avoid the pitfalls?
When you talk about organizational level cybersecurity training, there is no one program or one training fits all. You need to have some customized training for various groups in relation to it, and that training should be in relation to what they are doing. So for example, we talked about call center industries. Now call center agents, they are not that they don't need to know too many things about technology and so for them the basic elements of the data, where the data lies and what kind of a level of security they need to be following, as a password policy or what not to click, what not to do, those basic do's and don'ts should be good enough. But the same cannot be said for a development community. If you have developer group in your company, you can't just go by that. You need to think about OWASP top 10 kind of vulnerabilities and how you're going to mitigate them. So SQL injection, what precautions you need to do. So you need to give a specialized training to them. But when it comes to top management is a different ball game altogether, because you cannot expect those at OWASP top 10 to be told to top management. You need to tell them that cost of risk realization. So we have to explain them in their language, because the boardroom guys will only talk about, they will only understand the way figures are being presented to them. So if we can tell them that if a ransomware threat gets realized in your environment, probably you lose $1 million or so, and then if you don't want that to happen, then probably spend this $20,000 for doing putting this control. I think that's a kind of a training given to them, and that would really help you get your what you want to implement, and that's so the training has to be focused and to the point, to the specific group, so that they understand the rationale very well, and that could help you in overall maintaining the security.
So basically, role-based approach, depending upon the role and the responsibility those individuals have, customized. It should be customized. It's not like one size fits all.
One size fits all will not work.
Perfect. Now, what would you suggest for any budding technology professionals who aspire to lead a large security team? What's your advice to them?
The basic advice I would say is observe, observe, observe. So he has to observe around what is happening, how his peers are addressing, how his supervisors are addressing. But I would say for someone to lead a team, he should believe in his team members. He should encourage them to take risk. He should allow them to fail also at times, and overall look on their well-being, because once they see that the way you are doing things, they will like to emulate, and when you emulate that, you will have people like you spread across the world. And that's what I say the simply way. I mean, we can talk about, I mean, obviously they need to have some skills also, but these kind of a basic skills, if they can develop, I think they can have a great team, and they could lead to a bigger teams as well. And we're talking very simple things.
Wow. So thanks, Vaibhav, for giving us an insight and your point of views on the overall security, the trends, the terminologies, and advice to the young budding professionals who want to lead the large security teams. We really appreciate your time for today, and thank you for making it for us. Thank you so much. Thank you.